So, hey, chicks, let's chat. Let me ask you this. Why would a woman marry a man, right, knowing that you don't really like the setup that he has? Meaning that whatever his setup is, you pretty much have to pretend, right? Like you're okay with whatever it is. Maybe he's caring for his mother. Maybe he has to take care of his children. Like maybe they're in house. Maybe, you know, maybe he's living with his sister at the time, or, you know, just whatever his situation may be. I want to know because I'm very like direct. And it ain't a whole bunch of putting on and playing games and facades and stuff that I can really go along with for too long, right? So I want to know, how is it that y'all able to pretend so good? Like, we living in an age where women will pretend so good, like they on board with everything that a man has going on, right? They will pretend long enough to get a ring, or long enough to get the engagement, long enough to get a marriage, long enough to get maybe even a pension. However long, it just depends on how long she can pretend, right? But my thing is, why would you even go into a situation where you really don't like what that man's setup is, right? If you know that for whatever reason you don't like that man mama, why would you go into that situation knowing that you hard down don't like his mama? Would it be because, okay, well, you feel like, hey, she's older, she gonna die soon? If you know that you don't like his children, well, what you think, that you would just some kind of way create a wedge and, make it so that they don't want to come around, or you'll never be around them? If you know that you can't stand his sisters, oh, well, maybe you never going to invite her to anything, or maybe, you will just put on a good front while you're around her. Like, why would you even want to do that, though? Like, are we in a situation where we so desperate for a man that we willing to play, pretend, put on at the sake of our peace of mind? Because one thing about it, when you really harboring some anger or dislike or something towards somebody, you're not going to have any peace, especially when that person is around, or especially when it's time for you to be around that person. In fact, you're going to do everything you can to avoid being around that person. But if that person happens to be that man's mom, that man's children, that man's best friend, that man, whatever it is, there's no way you're going to avoid being around them. So why would you even sign up for that, knowing full well that you're really not good with their setup? Why would you want to sign up for a life of misery like that? Far too many times, women, we think that we're going to come in and we're going to switch up the set. You're not going to come in and switch up the set. You may be able to come in and get that man to acquiesce to some of your needs or some of your desires temporarily or in that moment. But you can't change the fact that his kids are his kids. You can't change the fact that his mama is his mama. You can't change the fact that his sister is his sister. And it don't matter what type of route you try to run, it is what it is. And you're going to live a whole life of unhappiness and not being able to have peace, because you signed up for a situation perpetrating a whole fraud, acting like you was on board with something that clearly you weren't on board with. Clearly you had an issue with it. Why do that to yourself? I don't know. Y'all, get in my comments and tell me why women do that. Why do we sign up for things that we know that we do not like. We're not going to be on board with it. It's going to get on our nerve. It's going to be a sore spot for us. It's going to give us an unpleasant feeling every time we have to do it, every time we have to partake in it, every time we have to go. Why do we think that we're going to get in that situation and we're going to change it, or we're going to be able to ignore it, we're going to be able to endure it? Why do we feel like we have to have a person so much and so bad that we're willing to get in situations that we know we're probably going to be unhappy in, and we'll get in it anyways and be what? Unhappy. Y'all, let me know why we do some of the things we do.